أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا المبعوث رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أرواحنا لتراب مقدمه الفداء. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أوصيكم عباد الله وأوصي نفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل والورع عن محارمه واجتناب عما نهى عنه. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم. آمنا بالله، صدق الله العلي العظيم. I pray that I'm audible enough without using the mic. Inshallah, those who are sitting behind are hearing me. And I listen to myself, I feel I'm loud enough. Those who are listening, I don't know how they feel about it. Hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, we'll be communicating. I would like to continue with my discussion about Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, Dua of our fourth Imam, Al-Imam al-Sajjad, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, from which we can learn so many things to improve on our spirituality, on our morality, on many aspects of our life. And today I'm picking up from this paragraph where Al-Imam alayhi salam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alih waj'al awsa'a rizqika alayya idha kabirt وأقوى قوتك في إذا نصبت ولا تبتليني بالكسل عن عبادتك ولا العمى عن سبيلك. Let's first of all try to understand these few lines before going further. So Imam says, وَجْعَلْ أَوْسَعَ رِزْقِكَ عَلَيَّ إِذَا كَبِرْتَ. Appoint for me your widest provision in my old age. Normally, we are able to seek provision, our rizq, and to run after it at the time when we are young, at the time when we have the power, the energy. We have the ability to earn, to work hard. So at this time, there isn't much worry because we have the ability to seek what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept for us. But in old days, when the energy is no longer there, when we do not have the ability to run around and to look for rizq, it becomes challenging. So Al-Imam Salawatullah Salamu Alayhi says that let that part that is wide enough of your rizq, be at my old age when I do not have the ability and the power to run around and to find for myself provisions. It must be said here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the provider, and all things come from Him. At the young age, at the old age, the one who provides us with everything with sustenance is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, it is Him that we should turn to and we should ask for help. But here Imam also points to us an important thing, that when we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for rizq, we should ask Him to provide us with what is sufficient for us, with what makes us move on, that we do not get stuck. Rizq does not mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants you abundant wealth and richness. It means that He gives you your basic needs and He helps you to move on with your life with dignity, with respect, till the end of it. And at an old age, one needs more provisions, not in terms of materials. He needs that support. He needs that kind of love and kindness and mercy from those who are around him. And sometimes when a person gets old and he doesn't have people around him to support him, to look after him, to make him move on with his life in a smooth way, it becomes very difficult for him to bear it. So one asks from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that at that age of old age, at the time of need, there's enough provision for him, not in terms of materials only, but wide risk in terms of spirituality, in terms of mercy and support from the people who are around him, so that he can complete his life in a way that is dignified, in a way that is respectful. So he says, I need that more at that time. We must also say that when we ask for rizq is not confined on things that we require materially and things that are only in terms of matter. Rizq is wide enough. It encompasses everything that we need. Sometimes it is knowledge. Sometimes it is that kind of love for the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for when we get things that we really find satisfaction out of them. This is rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one of these things is to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives you the wide rizq at the time of old age. Then He says, وَأَقْوَى قُوَّتِكَ إِذَا نَسِبْتَ. Aqwa quwwatika it means the strongest of your power. Now, when you look at the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it has got no variations. We cannot say this part of the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stronger than that part. But what it means here, therefore, is that you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep for you the energy and the support and the strength at the time when you are exhausted. And this is spiritual strength that allows you to carry on with your life, that you are not in a position whereby you cannot do anything. You are exhausted and therefore you can't carry out anything. The spirit needs to be energetic enough and to be able to carry out those actions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you. So He says that keep for me, save for me that energy, the big part of it, at the time when I find myself to be exhausted. وَجَعَلْ it says, وَأَقْوَى قُوَّتِكَ إِذَا نَصِبْتَ. Nasab is tiredness, is exhaustion. Then he says, وَلَا تَبْتَلِيَنِي بِالْكَسَلِ عَنْ عِبَادَتِكَ. And do not afflict me with being lazy from performing your ibadah. And this cuts across everyone. You're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives you the strength and the energy and the power to be able to carry out the obligations of ibadah and to have that kind of motivation that is required to carry out ibadah. That you do not become lazy to carry out ibadah, to perform your ibadah. Many things can distract a person and make him become lazy of ibadah, especially when one indulges in this material life and is cheated by the comforts of few gains here and there, and considers this life of this world to be the goal and to be everything. And he becomes lazy of performing the ibadah and becoming more advanced and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, one thing that one should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to deprive him of is the sweetness of ibadah. And there is a time when a person performs ibadah just because it's an obligation, it's something that he is required of, it's a burden on him which he has to relieve himself of. And there's a time when a person enjoys engaging with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ibadah. And certain sins may take away the sweetness of ibadah. When a person indulges certain things and makes mistakes here and there, he might end up not feeling the sweetness that one is supposed to feel in ibadah. So you stand up in prayer, but you do not find anything in it. You just find it's to be a burden, and you wish to finish it very quickly. And this is an affliction. This is bala. It means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blocked your heart. La samah Allah. Would prohibit. So one of those things is that one should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make him active in ibadah. That you find the strength and you find the motivation to stand in ibadah. Sometimes you might wake up very early during the night before Fajr, but you are not motivated to stand up for Salat al-Layl, for example. You just start doing a few things and there until the time of Fajr, comes, and you perform that Fajr very quickly and you leave it. This is an attribute of munafiqun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he describes the munafiqun, he says, وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ, Salat being one of the best forms of ibadah, says, وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى. When they stand up for prayers, they stand while they are lazy. They feel overburdened. And they don't feel the enjoyment from the ibadah. So Imam says in this line, وَلَا تَبْتَلِيَنِي, do not afflict me, do not cause this in me, that I find myself to be lazy in performing ibadah. And one should try and address those things that distracts him from the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from enjoying of ibadah. Should make a disconnection somehow from those things that will become an impediment on the path of engaging with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many things. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes his servants, and this of course describes the best of his servants, and it is the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, the role models. He says, رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ بَيْعٌ وَلَا تِجَارَةٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. These are people who